after they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be exposed, right?
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
Imagine this. One of the most iconic names in Hollywood, someone who has built their career on charm, talent, and a clean-cut image, suddenly finds themselves entangled in a massive scandal that threatens to change everything we thought we knew about them. Leonardo DiCaprio. Yes, that Leonardo DiCaprio. The same actor who has been revered for his environmental activism, his Oscar-winning roles, and his seemingly untouchable status as Hollywood royalty. But now whispers are growing louder, suggesting that DiCaprio isn't just a passive observer caught up in the wrong crowd. Instead, there's mounting speculation that he might be much more involved in the dark, twisted world of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged secret circle.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
It all started with Diddy's legal troubles, which sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and the public. The music mogul, known for his extravagant parties and star-studded circles, is facing accusations that are far from the glamorous image he spent decades cultivating. Multiple lawsuits have been filed alleging that Diddy orchestrated a secret web of control, manipulation, and deeply disturbing activities, all under the guise of his larger-than-life personality. And as more details emerge, it's becoming clear that these accusations reach much further than just Diddy himself.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail.
For years, Diddy has been at the center of the entertainment world, rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest names in music, film, and business. He's hosted parties that have become the stuff of legend, attended by the creme de la creme of Hollywood. But according to recent lawsuits, these parties weren't just harmless fun. They were something far more sinister. Reports suggest that Diddy's gatherings often involved coercion, with guests lured in by the promise of career advancement, only to find themselves trapped in compromising situations. And, as it turns out, these parties might have even served as a method of control, a way for Diddy to manipulate those around him by collecting damning evidence, recordings, photos, and more.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
Now Leonardo DiCaprio's name has surfaced in connection with these allegations. Yes, that Leonardo, the actor whose public persona has always been squeaky clean, aside from the occasional tabloid headline about his love life or his latest vacation on a yacht. But this time, the rumors are far more serious. DiCaprio has been seen at many of Diddy's infamous parties over the years, often alongside other A-listers. In fact, the two have been photographed together on numerous occasions, appearing to be close friends. But the question on everyone's mind now is, how deep does this friendship go? Were these just innocent gatherings, or was DiCaprio privy to the darker side of Diddy's world? The lawsuits against Diddy paint a chilling picture. They suggest that these events were much more than just wild parties. Allegedly, there were rooms where things happened behind closed doors, things that most guests weren't supposed to see. But some did see, and some, like DiCaprio, may have been closer to it than anyone ever realized. As more details come to light, it's becoming increasingly difficult to believe that someone as connected to Diddy as DiCaprio could have remained completely unaware of what was really going on.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
One of the most damning pieces of evidence in these cases involves the idea that Diddy may have used his parties as blackmail material, recording what went on behind closed doors and using it to keep people in line. And if that's true, then it's also possible that DiCaprio, like many others, could have been caught on camera. Of course, none of this has been confirmed, and DiCaprio himself has remained silent on the issue. But in the world of Hollywood, silence often speaks louder than words.
Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
What's especially troubling is that this isn't the first time DiCaprio has been linked to questionable behavior behind the scenes. While his public image has always been carefully curated, there have been rumors for years about what really goes on at the exclusive parties he attends. These rumors have always been dismissed as idle gossip. But now, in the light of Diddy's legal troubles, they seem much more credible. Could it be that DiCaprio has been hiding something all along?
He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
It's no secret that Hollywood is a world where power and influence reign supreme. And Diddy, with his vast business empire and connections, has long been one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry. But what's becoming clear now is that this power may have been used for much darker purposes. The lawsuits against Diddy allege that he didn't just throw parties for fun. He used them to control people, to manipulate them, and to keep them under his thumb. And if that's the case, it raises serious questions about the people who attended these parties, DiCaprio included. One of the most troubling aspects of the allegations against Diddy is the suggestion that some of Hollywood's most well-known celebrities might have been complicit in or at least aware of what was going on at these parties. It's been reported that Diddy often surrounded himself with rising stars, promising them fame and success in exchange for their silence or, worse yet, their participation in his twisted world. And Leonardo DiCaprio, as one of the most powerful and well-connected actors in Hollywood, would have been a prime target for this kind of manipulation.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
Over the years, DiCaprio has built a network of friendships with some of the most influential people in the industry. He's been photographed with everyone from Jay-Z to Usher to Yeah, all of whom have also been linked to Diddy in one way or another. And while being at the same party doesn't necessarily mean someone is involved in any wrongdoing, the sheer number of connections between DiCaprio and Diddy is enough to raise eyebrows. After all, it's hard to believe that someone as smart and savvy as DiCaprio wouldn't have at least suspected that something was amiss. What's even more alarming is that this isn't just about one or two parties. According to the lawsuits, Diddy's behavior spans decades, dating back to the early 1990s. And during that time, DiCaprio's career was on the rise. Could it be that Diddy played a role in helping DiCaprio climb the Hollywood ladder? It's certainly possible. After all, Diddy has been known to use his influence to help out his friends, and DiCaprio would have been a valuable ally to have in his corner. But if that's the case, then it also means that DiCaprio might have known more about what was really going on than he's letting on.
And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
There's also the matter of the other celebrities who have been linked to Diddy's parties. People like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and even Justin Bieber have all been spotted at these infamous gatherings, and while none of them have been directly implicated in the lawsuits, their presence at these events raises questions about what they might have seen or heard. Could it be that Hollywood's biggest names have been turning a blind eye to Diddy's behavior for years, simply because it was easier than confronting the truth?
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
One thing is clear, the walls are closing in on Diddy, and as more lawsuits are filed, it's only a matter of time before the full extent of his alleged actions comes to light. And when that happens, it's not just Diddy who will be facing the consequences. The entire Hollywood establishment could be shaken to its core, with some of its most beloved stars forced to answer tough questions about their own involvement, or lack thereof, in this scandal.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
As for DiCaprio, his silence on the matter is deafening. Despite being one of the most vocal celebrities on issues like climate change and social justice, he has yet to make any public statement regarding Diddy's legal troubles. And that silence is only fueling speculation that he might have something to hide. Could it be that DiCaprio is simply waiting for dust to settle before making his move? Or is he hoping that, like so many other scandals in Hollywood, this one will quietly fade away? But one has to wonder, how much longer can DiCaprio stay silent? With each new lawsuit that emerges, the pressure on him and other celebrities who have been linked to Diddy grows. And at some point, the public will demand answers. DiCaprio has spent years carefully crafting his image as a socially conscious, morally upright figure in Hollywood. But if these rumors turn out to be true, that image could come crashing down in an instant.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap.
The real question now is, how far does this go? And what will happen to the celebrities who have been caught in the crossfire? For Diddy, the future looks bleak. But for Diddy, the future looks bleak. But for DiCaprio, Jay-Z, and the countless other stars who have been linked to him, the fallout could be just as severe. The entertainment world is watching closely, waiting to see who will be the next to fall. DiCaprio has always been known as someone who plays his cards close to the chest, rarely allowing the public a glimpse into his private life. But if these allegations against Diddy continue to mount, he may no longer have that luxury. The world wants to know, what did Leonardo DiCaprio really know about Diddy's parties? And how involved was he in the darker side of Hollywood that's now coming to light?
Clearly, there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
One thing is certain. This is only the beginning. As investigators dig deeper into Diddy's alleged actions, more names are likely to surface, and more secrets will be exposed. And more secrets will be exposed, and when that happens, the entire landscape of Hollywood could change forever. Could Leonardo DiCaprio be the next domino to fall in this unfolding scandal? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the truth is coming, and it's not going to be pretty.
Problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
Now, if you think the connections between Leonardo DiCaprio and Diddy were shocking, just wait until you hear about the dark world behind those famous Hollywood mansion parties. These weren't your typical A-list gatherings where celebrities sipped cocktails and exchanged pleasantries. No, these parties were something else entirely, something much more disturbing. They were initiation rites, a twisted game of power, all happening behind closed doors. But what's even more chilling is how these exclusive get-togethers may have been used as a tool for something far more sinister: control, manipulation, and blackmail.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Let's be real. When we hear the words Hollywood mansion party, most of us picture glamorous events, maybe something out of a movie. Beautiful people, flashing lights, expensive decor. And sure, on the surface, that's exactly what these gatherings seem to be. But according to the latest rumors and lawsuits swirling around Diddy, these parties were way more than just a place for celebrities to let loose. There was a darker side to them, an underground world that was hidden from the public eye. And the more we learn, the more it sounds like these parties were designed to trap people, especially those new to the industry, into compromising situations that they couldn't escape from. Think about it. Hollywood is a place where fame and fortune are dangled in front of people like a carrot on a stick. And for those who are desperate to make it big, sometimes they'll do anything to get their foot in the door. Diddy, with his empire, his connections, and his reputation as a kingmaker, would have been the perfect person to exploit this. He was often seen as the gateway to success. You wanted to be a star. You had to get in with Diddy first. But as we're now finding out, getting close to Diddy came with a price that many weren't prepared to pay. The lawsuits against Diddy describe these mansion parties as more than just wild nights. They were, according to some reports, part of a larger system of manipulation. Guests, many of whom were young and eager to climb the Hollywood ladder, were allegedly forced into situations that they couldn't easily back out of. And the worst part, many of these situations were caught on camera. That's right. It wasn't just about what happened at the party. It was about having leverage over the people who attended. The idea that Diddy or someone in his circle might have been secretly recording what went on behind closed doors is terrifying. It's blackmail, plain and simple.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
And that's where the real power came from. Once someone was caught on camera doing something they'd rather not have the world know about, they were trapped. Suddenly, Diddy had something on them, and in Hollywood, where reputation is everything, that kind of leverage can destroy a person's career or worse.
The special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
For years, rumors have swirled about what really went on at these parties, but now with multiple lawsuits being filed, those rumors are starting to look a lot more like reality. Survivors and insiders are coming forward, sharing stories that all seem to follow a similar pattern. One minute, they're partying with the biggest names in the industry, and the next, they're being led into private rooms where things quickly take a dark turn. The most disturbing part, many of these people didn't even know they were being recorded, and once those recordings existed, they were at the mercy of whoever held them. This isn't just wild speculation either. There are whispers that some of Hollywood's biggest stars were at these parties, that they saw what was going on, and that they chose to stay silent. Why? Because they were either involved or they were too scared to speak out. After all, if you knew there was a tape out there that could ruin your career, or worse, your life, wouldn't you stay quiet too?
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes.
And this brings us back to Leonardo DiCaprio. He's been seen at Diddy's parties. He's been photographed with him, and there's no denying that the two were close. But now, people are starting to ask, how much did DiCaprio really know? Was he just an innocent bystander, or was he caught up in the same web of manipulation and control as everyone else? And if these tapes do exist, is DiCaprio one of the people who's on them? Let's not forget, DiCaprio has been part of the Hollywood elite for decades. He's seen it all, so it's hard to imagine that he didn't know at least something about what was really going on at these parties. But so far, he stayed silent, and that silence is deafening.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
But DiCaprio isn't the only one who's been connected to these parties. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Justin Bieber, all of them have been linked to Diddy in one way or another. In fact, some of the most powerful and famous people in the world have been seen at Diddy's events. And while there's no direct evidence that any of them were involved in the darker side of things, their presence raises questions. Could they really have been so close to Diddy without knowing what was going on? One of the most chilling aspects of these allegations is the idea that these parties were more like initiation ceremonies than simple get-togethers. According to some reports, newcomers to Hollywood were brought into Diddy's world as a way to test their loyalty. They were told that if they wanted to succeed, they had to play by the rules. And those rules were often twisted and immoral. And once they were in, there was no getting out. The tapes ensured that.
That's why, of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
It's a system that sounds almost too dark to be real, but when you look at the way power operates in Hollywood, it starts to make sense. For years, we've heard stories about how the entertainment industry is controlled by a small group of people who hold all the cards and can make or break careers with a single phone call. Diddy, with his vast influence and connections, was one of those people, and now, it seems he may have used that power to control more than just the music charts. What's even more troubling is that these tapes may not just be sitting in a vault somewhere. There are rumors that the footage from these parties was distributed among a select group of people who could use it to their advantage. And if that's true, then we're talking about a network of blackmail that goes far beyond Diddy himself. We're talking about a system of corruption that stretches across Hollywood, one that involves some of the biggest names in the industry.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his homes.
And it's not just about what happened at the parties themselves. According to some insiders, Diddy's reach extended far beyond his own events. There are whispers that he had people working for him, people who would gather dirt on celebrities and use it to keep them in line. Whether it was through secret recordings, manipulated contracts, or other means, Diddy allegedly had a way of ensuring that the people around him stayed loyal. And if they didn't, well, let's just say there was always a way to make them regret it. One of the most infamous examples of this is the so-called freak-off sessions that have been linked to Diddy. According to multiple lawsuits, these events were some of the most depraved gatherings in Hollywood, where anything and everything went. Guests were allegedly plied with substances, and once they were sufficiently out of control, the real party began. These sessions weren't just about having a good time. They were about breaking people down, about seeing how far they could be pushed. And once they were compromised, they were trapped. It's no wonder that some people are comparing Diddy's world to that of Jeffrey Epstein. Both men allegedly used their power and influence to control those around them, and both men surrounded themselves with some of the most famous people on the planet.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
But here's the thing. Even if these celebrities weren't directly involved in what went on at these parties, they still knew. They had to have known. And for years, they stayed silent. Why? Because they were afraid. Afraid of what would happen if they spoke out. Afraid of what Diddy or someone else might do to them. And that's the real tragedy here. Hollywood is a place that thrives on secrets, on keeping things hidden from the public eye. And for too long, people have been willing to look the other way when it comes to the darker side of the industry. But now, with these lawsuits, the truth is finally starting to come out. People are talking. Survivors are sharing their stories. And the walls are closing in on Diddy and his inner circle. But the question remains, how many people will be brought down with him? Will Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, and the others finally be forced to answer for what they knew, or will they continue to stay silent, hoping that the storm will pass?
Now you got the Diddy situation where he jumps on a private jet, they say yesterday, and is on his way to the Cape Verde Islands.
One thing's for sure, the days of these Hollywood mansion parties being seen as glamorous are over. The truth is out, and it's far more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. And as more lawsuits are filed and more people come forward, we can only expect to learn even more about the twisted underworld that's been hiding in plain sight for years. So, what's next? Will we see more celebrities getting dragged into the scandal? Will the tapes, if they exist, finally surface? And how will Hollywood, as a whole, deal with the fallout from these revelations? The entertainment industry is already reeling from the accusations against Diddy, and things are only going to get messier from here.
If you got to run to a private island because your evil doings is doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
In the end, it's not just about one man's actions. It's about a system that allowed these things to happen, a system that protected the powerful and silenced the vulnerable. And until that system is fully exposed, we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. More names will come out, more stories will be told, and the real question is, who's next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments because this is one story that's far from over.